Hello everyone and welcome to this video about Stoneleigh Abbey in Kenilworth, Warwickshire in the UK. Stoneleigh Abbey is set within the pastoral landscape of Warwickshire, England, and has an history that weaves together medieval devotion, aristocratic ambition, and literary and royal associations. Originally founded in 1155 by Cistercian monks, the abbey began as a quiet monastic community supported by agriculture, prayer, and the generous patronage of the crown. Though little of the original monastic complex survives today, aside from its medieval gatehouse, as you see here, the spiritual origins of Stoneleigh set the foundation for the estate's long evolution. The dissolution of the monasteries in the 1530s brought dramatic change. Like many religious houses across England, Stoneleigh Abbey was seized by King Henry VIII. Its monastic life disrupted and its lands eventually granted to Sir Thomas Leigh in 1558, no family of the famous actor Christopher Lee. The Leigh family quickly transformed the former abbey into a country residence, incorporating surviving structures while adding domestic wings. Over generations, they expanded both the estate and their influence, turning Stoneleigh into a prominent seat of distinguished Warwickshire family. The most striking transformation came in the early 18th century, when the Leighs commissioned the construction of the West Wing between 1714 and 1726. This grand Baroque mansion, designed by Francis Smith of Warwick, redefined the estate's architectural character. With its 15-bay facade, tall sash windows, and richly detailed interiors, the new wing offered a dramatic contrast to the older Tudor portions of the house. The saloon in particular became a showpiece of Georgian elegance, celebrated for its ornate plasterwork and symmetry. Today, the mansion is the architectural heart of Stoneleigh Abbey, symbolizing the wealth and cultural aspirations of the family who shaped it. Stoneleigh's significance extends beyond architecture. In 1806, the writer Jane Austen visited the estate with her mother and sister when they were invited by the Cossins, the newly prosperous Leigh family. The grandeur of the house and the dynamics of a large estate in transition are widely believed to have influenced Jane Austen's depictions of stately homes in books like Mansfield Park and Persuasion. Her visit also offered her first-hand insight into the rhythms of Aristotelic life, insight that enriched her fiction with a nuanced understanding of wealth, inheritance, and social expectation. Another notable moment in the Abbey's history came with the royal visit of Queen Victoria and her husband Albert, who toured the house and grounds during her reign. Her stop at Stoneleigh added a royal chapter to the estate's long-standing prominence and highlighted its status as one of the distinguished houses of the Midlands. By the 20th century, however, maintaining such a grand estate became increasingly difficult. A significant fire in 1960 damaged parts of the West Wing, and the financial strain on the family grew. In 1996, the property passed into a charitable trust, allowing for extensive restoration that preserved both the mansion and its landscaped grounds. Today, Stoneleigh Abbey is open to the public. Its house accessible through guided tours, and its parklands inviting visitors to explore a place where centuries of English history still echo. Stoneleigh Abbey's journey from medieval foundation to a Georgian mansion associated with both Jane Austen and Queen Victoria embodies the layered heritage of English country houses. It remains not only a monument to its past, but also a living statement to the stories, families, and cultural moments that shaped it. On the estate, you will also find the stables. Charles Samuel Smith constructed this magnificent building between 1815 and 1820. He was chosen after his successful design of the pump rooms in Leamington Spa and the extravagant Regent's Hotel. The style of this building is Tudor Gothic. This design was chosen so it would blend in with the Tudor origins of the main house unlike the original 16th century buildings. Local sandstone was used for its construction. It embodied major changes in stable design, which followed the growing popularity of thoroughbred racing horses in the late 18th century. Smith did his research and sought the opinion of the stable lads and grooms if there are any problems riding in circles or ovals, and if they experience any dizziness. It was agreed a D shape would be preferable. Much consideration was given to the ventilation, and aqueducts were installed, which raised the level of fresh air entering the stables above the level of the horses' stomachs, which was to prevent stomach flu. There were loose boxes, which can be seen in the restored stable bays, accommodation for grooms, and a spacious riding school for indoor riding. Like many other structures of large country estates, the stables entered a long period of decline in the 20th century. Maintaining extensive outbuildings became increasingly difficult as agricultural incomes shrank and the aristocratic lifestyle that once sustained such complexes became harder to support. After a major fire damaged the west wing of the house in 1960, the upkeep of the estate grew ever more burdensome. The stables, no longer central to the life of the estate, slowly deteriorated. Reports from the late 20th century depict a grim picture: collapsing walls, derelict roofs, and structures so decayed that their survival seemed uncertain. As ownership of Stoneleigh Abbey became increasingly strained, the wider estate suffered neglect, and its outbuildings, including the stable block, reflected that slow decline. When the estate passed into the care of a charitable trust in 1996, the transfer ushered in one of the most ambitious restoration projects undertaken on a historic English estate. The stables, listed as Grade II for their architectural significance, became a priority within a wider program that encompassed the mansion, the grounds, and various water features associated with the designs of Humphrey Repton. Restoration of the stables required extensive conservation work, masonry repairs to the red sandstone walls, the reinstatement of traditional roofing, careful reconstruction of timber elements, and the preservation of interior features such as vaulted stalls and the windows. The aim was not merely to stabilize the buildings, but to retrieve their historic character, returning them to a state that reflected their original purpose and elegance. Today, the stables can be visited, and a small portion is being recreated as to how the stalls looked like in the 19th century. Another portion of the stalls are being used as B&B houses, and in another part, Mackenzie Miller Developments is established. Well, I hope you found this video interesting. Thank you for watching, and until next time.